about 30 feet away from the train when it pulled into the station, and I observed it coming at a high rate of speed. It went over the bumper block, basically through the air, traveled about another 40 feet, came to a rest when it hit the wall of the waiting room.
So I want to understand what you're saying, Mike. You're saying that the first car of the train became airborne?
To a degree, yeah, because there's a solid concrete and steel bumper block to where if the train was to go too far, it would hit it.
Right.
Apparently the train was traveling fast enough to have hit it and gone over it. So it kind of, yeah, it was airborne to a degree.
Mike, did you hear any screeching brakes, anything? You work on locomotives. You know what brakes sound like. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. I heard just an initial bomb sound. I knew it wasn't a bomb because I saw it happen, but it was just initially just a horrendous exploding noise and concrete dust, electrical wires, and the train flying into the depot. It was kind of, couldn't believe what I was seeing. You know, it was something you really wouldn't, working there for so long, you'd never believe that could happen.
And so people understand what that terminal looks like. The track actually terminates, and then people can walk in that area where the track terminates.
Well, yes, the track terminates, and then they exit the train, and then the terminal is in front of where the tracks terminate.
Yeah, and so can you describe that scene? And I know, because I've seen you take deep breaths here, I know that this is difficult. What did you see immediately after? Describe the scene after the impact.
Well, we ran over, and there were a lot of people kicking out windows, trying to exit the train. We told them not to, because if there had been any, the catenary wires are touching the top of the train, and you exit the train and touch the ground, you get electrocuted. A lot of people don't realize that, so we tried to keep them on the train, kept them on the train. And we determined there was no power, so we were able to enter the train. And we got into the first car. We got halfway through the first car. The second half of the first car was completely destroyed to where they were crawling on their hands and knees. And we were trying to get, you know, as many people out. I assisted in maybe 3 or 4 people getting out. Then the first responders came and told me to exit.
Can you describe the extent of the injuries that you saw?
I have no idea how many injuries there are. I saw some pretty serious injuries. They were alive and conscious, but yet very serious. But like I said, once the first responders and the police came, they made the rest of us stay far, because they also believe structurally the depot is not you know, it's not structurally sound anymore, because the whole roof was ripped apart by the train. So as far as the amount of casualties, I absolutely have no idea. Hopefully it's very few.
But you're saying in terms of the damage to the train, the first half of the first car was destroyed.
Yeah, the first half of the first car was pretty heavily damaged.
And the engineer, as you know, it would have been in that lead car, right?
Yes.
Even though the train was powered by a diesel, right at the back.
The locomotive is in the rear, but but he's operating the locomotive traction power from the first car. So he's in the first car, and he's right in the front of the first car. So what his condition is, I don't know.
Now you work. We said a moment ago, you work on locomotives. Does this particular model of locomotive have positive train control or anything that would govern the speed? Is there the so-called dead man switch on that?
Well, yeah, it's not called a dead man anymore. It's called an alerter. There's many different positive train control, you know, aspects in use here. In the depot, I mean, that's not my expertise. I don't, you know, I couldn't comment on any kind of train control in the depot. I really don't know. That's not my field. Sure,
understood. But fair to say you went into the train with others, I guess.
Yeah, there was me and about 4 or 5 other. I think the station master was there, and actually a couple of non-employees came in. Anybody that could help, that was right there.
If you had to sum up your reaction to all of this, Mike, what would it be?
No, it was just shocking. I mean, kind of surreal. Just completely shocking. Like a trade center type of thing. You don't really believe it's happening in front of your face. I mean, I walk past that area where it happened 100 times a day, and I could never imagine that happening. So seeing it happen was almost unbelievable at the time. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. That's all I can say.
Mike Larson, I know this is difficult for you, Mike, and I appreciate your taking the time. Thank you for doing what you did.